It wasn't in Florida.
You shouldn't have said that.
It wasn't in Florida. So we're gonna go over the three-way machlokes. Do we have to? You guys wait.
Okay.
So let's first understand. So what's the case? All right. Before we get into the Tosfos, let's just understand the case. You have a barrel. All right. What's in the barrel?
Pickle, onion.
No.
Pickles with 3 different meanings.
That was my. I picked this though. Not me. That was mine. Okay.
Onion,
So
carrot, and leek.
okay, onion, carrot, and leek. Okay, because I love leeks. Leeks are like.
Because leeks leak their flavor.
What? Well, then let me say in order. The order is I have a leek, an onion. Although onion is not a good vegetable to use, but anyway, an onion and a carrot inside a barrel.
Is this recorded?
Okay. Yeah. So I have the three of them inside a barrel, and I have vinegar. Now remember, the assumption is that when you have vinegar in this situation, and you have the idea of kavush, which is where there's no heat transfer, but the fact that they're all together in this barrel for 24 hours means that there is a transfer of taste. So on the surface, what would that mean? Forget beer for a second, forget all that stuff. I have three vegetables, each one has kedusha Sheviis, okay? And what's Tom going to do? Well, if I have a leek, an onion, and a carrot, or A, B, C, right? So A is going to acquire the Tom of B and C, right? B is going to acquire the Tom of A and C, and C is going to acquire the Tom of A and B. You guys ever go for smicha and ever do Yoredea? Half of Yoredea is just this kind of stuff, dealing with Tom, all right? In halacha, forget science, in halacha, Tom acquires, this is always important, Tom acquires, what's Tom? What's Tom in halacha?
Halachic Tom.
What does that mean? You just took
switching words.
Right, exactly. That was good. Verse.
The H word modifier gets you out of literally every.
Okay, but explain what Tom is though. What's Tom? What does Tom mean in halacha?
Status. It was just a status.
But okay, what does that mean though? Just halachically. What does that mean halachically?
It's a tom of a min. It's a taste.
If the carrot has the tom of onion in it, so how do we look at that carrot?
You look at it. It's a carrot onion.
B.
It's a carrot onion.
Be together.
It's a malokas. If it's a carrot plus onion or carrot onion.
Well, okay, but let's make it simple for now. In general, what you would say is that
One
it's
has to be.
Shame of the other.
that's more like it. Okay. In other words, what happens when you have tom in something? What happens is that, like, let's say basar v'chalav.
Infused.
So now the basar now acquires the chalav. It acquires the taste of the chalav. So it acquires the properties of milk without actually having milk in it. That's tom. Halacha says when the carrot acquires the tom of, let's say, the leek, what's happening is that the leek itself, the properties of the leek are now in the carrot, but it's not really, there's no leek in it. It just now has the properties of leek in it. So how would you look at it on the surface? You'd say, it's not a carrot anymore, it's a carrot leek, or a carrot leek onion. So each one of the vegetables is really, on the surface, would have the properties of the other two in it, and you look at each vegetable as being the summation of the three. Is that clear? The best way to approach a sugya is like I was telling Binyamin, like a cholent. You have beans, barley, meat, and potatoes, right? Together they become a cholent. So imagine for a second, you have a leek, an onion, and a carrot. Because of the exchange of flavors, the carrot becomes a leek, onion, carrot. The carrot becomes a leek, carrot, onion. And the onion becomes a leek, carrot, onion. So they all acquire those shemos. Okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
That's the starting point. That just blew your mind?
No,
So when the Zman Biur hits, it's going to happen in Eretz Yisrael. There's going to be I haven't worked out how they do this yet. I got to find out. I'm trying to get someone, a well-known guy, to come speak here about Shemitah stuff and ask him this question. But in the Gemara, based on the Torah, when is Zman Biur? Right? You go out and you say the animals have completely eaten, namely the leeks. The leeks are all gone from the field. But in Eretz Yisrael, they don't do that. What do they do in Eretz Yisrael?
Burn.
No. I'm saying they say there's a date, like the 5th of August, right? Is the day of Biur for leeks. How do they know that? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue where they get the dates from.
National Geographic.
Right? I don't know. I don't know. Well, you'll see the next Gemara we do. It gets really difficult. But anyway, so let's say this Zman Biur hits for the leek. Okay? So now what? What's the machlokas? Remember, you have a leek, an onion, and a carrot. So give me the positions. You have beautiful. Oh, you guys are great. Okay, go. And what are the positions?
One position is where you wait until the last minute.
So anyway, everyone loves Rabbi Yeshua's opinion.
I don't know, it's just one that I remember.
It's okay.
It's the easiest.
So Rabbi Yeshua holds. Rabbi Yeshua is very funny, right? So Rabbi Yeshua holds the last one.
Already shita.
Okay, fine. The last one, Mekel.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's
on
Mekel.
this one is possible.
That's the first sheet then.
Oh,
That's
Right. As well as holds when the leek, and again, let's go in order. Leek is first, carrot second, onion third. When the leek becomes chayiv and biur, according to Rabbi Lazar, now what?
It's just the leak is
CLO, Kalu.
yeah, color. Only the leak is color, but the rest
Carry
are
I
okay.
get it.
Wow.
Maybe that's why I thought of it all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. According to Rabbi Lazar, once the first one becomes Chayv and Bior, right? So now what happens to the other ones?
They all become higher.
So without even, again, this is why it's such a complex sugya. Without even going further, what would you say about Rabbi Lazar at that point? What must he be holding?
Tom is
Don't say before yet. But what must he be holding? If you're going to tell me that once the leek becomes Chayv and Bior, the onion and the carrot are also Chayv and Bior, so what's he saying?
they're all one entity.
What, meaning what? Not they're one entity, but
Not
what do you
one
mean?
entity, but they all have some part of the leak in it.
Thank you. Correct? In other words, you have in front of you three.
And not only that,
Leaks, so to speak.
Enough
Right?
to make them all chayv.
Right, exactly. But you have to have a reality of leek in the onion and leek in the carrot to say that everything's Chayv and Bior. So that's Rabbi Lazar. What's Rabbi Yeshua?
The last one.
The last one, which is the hardest position to understand, right?
Yeah.
And then you have
very clean.
So which means what? But just to get it clear, so Rabbi Yeshua holds that when the leek becomes Chayv and Bior, no problem. When the carrot becomes Chayv and Bior, no problem. When the onion becomes Chayv and Bior,
Problem.
then you have the issue, okay? Which would seem to, again, what would that imply in the surface?
That's the tom of the min that
In methodology,
Yeah,
many
sounds
times
like
when you
that.
have these positions, the first thing you should do is just logically apply, what would that mean? So what's the consequence of his position? Compare that to
There's
Rebbe
some
Lazar.
reality of time, but not completely. Is it?
Right, but it's almost like he's, again, this isn't the Svara, right? But it's almost like he's saying,
There's no Tom.
no, he can't say that either.
It's really
Key modifier almost.
No, why can't he say there's no Tom? He can't say
They roll all
that.
the time.
third one.
What? Because the third one.
the
So it's
third-
almost like he's saying at this point,
No. The third one, back to what I just said.
what happened to the first two?
Every single thing.
What happened to
is possible.
no, but what happened to the first two?
Doesn't matter.
Right, so what must he say about
That's
the
what
first
I'm saying. It's
two?
not like
But
there's
they're
no
not-
Tom.
They're mutter though. They're mutter.
They're mutter.
How do you say that?
Oh. Yeah, it's very good.
So what's he saying about the other? So when I have a leak and it has the Tom, let's say the leak goes first,
The
and it has
Hector
Tom.
wins, and I don't know why.
So that's what's really strange. Rabbi Yeshua is bizarre because he's saying, well, you have the leak that's Chayv beer, but now you have like these competing Tomim in there, like onion and carrot. So somehow the existence of the onion and carrot does what?
overrides.
What kind of thing is that? That sounds wacky, right? But that's what he seems to hold, right? That's Rabbi Yeshua. And then you have Rabban Gamliel who says
Very clean.
Treat
he's
each
the
meat
easiest one.
individually.
Each one is treated individually,
Solipsistic
right?
mina.
What?
Solipsistic mina.
Beautiful. All right. So it's a very bizarre machlokas. All right. So let's read Tosfos. Who's reading Tosfos? Yaakov. So that took us like 3 days to figure out what he was talking about when he says mavur, right? But mavur means what? Mavur means right. Well, what's destroyed?
Tom.
The tom. Okay, which tom?
What do you think I said?
I agree with you.
Oh, the beer Tom.
Right. Okay. So that's the other thing.
Right, the good Tom is all good. All good to go.
Right. The weird thing that's taking place here is that there's kedusha Sheviis, right? All the vegetables have
Racial profiling.
all the vegetables have what in them? They have the status of Sheviis, right?
Yeah.
And now something's happening now when you're Chayav and Biur, right? That's changing. There's some shift. So he's saying when he says mavur, the question is the tom now that's being exuded or expressed, emitted from the leak. Is that the same tom as before? All right, go on.
Rabbi Yeshua, Tema Lari, Ayach Motor Guf Osam Shikalu, V'Omer.
Well, what's his question?
How could the guf of the man, which is now Chayav Mir, become mutter?
Right. In other words, how could Rabbi Yeshua hold the leak is mutter? The leak is Chayav and Biur. The leak is Chayav and Biur, right? It's Chayav and Biur. Okay, this is very nice. I had the tom, carrot, and onion in the leak, but who cares? Why should that make a difference? That's his question. How could it be that my physical leak, I have a leak in front of me, it is a 100% pure leak, all right? It happens to have tom of carrot and onion in it. Who cares? At the end of the day, this leak is Chayav and Biur. So how can you tell me that it's mutter to eat? That's his question. Is that clear?
Is this?
The Torah's gone and the Parshas Bar Sinai, Pligi, Bekrai, Titania, this is Mersa. Minnesota Tachlu is Tivosa, Kozman Shasa Ocho Minnesota.
Ata ochum and bias. Okay, so, all right. So what is that pasuk telling you? The Torah says, let you guys did this. Minasada tochlu es tivuasa. Kolzman she'ata ochel min hasadeh, ata ochel min habayis. All right, the Torah tells you min hasadeh, from the field you eat that which is produced. Right, from the field you eat the tvua. Right, so that means as long as there's stuff in the field, what can I do?
You eat it.
That which is in my house. Whereas what does beer? How does beer emerge? I have, to make it simple, I have 3 meals worth of oranges in my house. In the field, once the oranges are finished, at that point in time, now I have to do beer on what's in my house. So I use the field as my barometer. All right, that's what beer is. Is that clear?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Next.
מכאן אמרו חכמים הכובש שלושה כבשים מכבס רבי אליעזר אומר כיוון שכלה אחד מן השדה יבר הכל מן הבייס.
V'hainu ochan al rishon. Right. So what does that mean? So Rebbe Elazar holds what?
That once the first one becomes chayv beer, they all are basic.
Right. There's now all of them. So once the leek becomes chayv and beer, what happens to the carrot and the onion?
No, it becomes.
Yeah.
Everything becomes chayv and beer. Okay. Okay.
Okay. The Shmisan Vim Tomer Levi.
Which makes it like, no, that's what's implied.
Right.
Okay.
Vim Tomer Levi Eliezer Lishtok Pramina.
Denafkalan mi v'liv hemtecha v'liv hemtecha. Okay. So what does v'liv hemtecha mean? Literally, v'liv hemtecha.
To the animals.
Right. So what's that referring to?
What's the animals?
Right. So what do you use as your barometer for when there's no more food left in the field?
Once the animals,
Animals
everything
chew.
goes-
The animals have eaten it up. Okay. They determine the zman kalo. The time that produce is no longer in the field is determined by when the animals eat it. So the Torah says v'liv hemtecha. So what does he do with that pasuk? V'yishlomar.
Yishlomer Desaver Eliezer Dei Lav Haikra. Okay, Dei Lav Haikra.
So if you didn't have,
This basic.
right?
Avamin the also amin Dafka Yibar Velo Yoser. That this min would be like mir but not the others.
Meaning what? Meaning what?
That the time would transfer.
Right. In other words, because of that pasuk, if you didn't have the pasuk, you would think only the leek is chayv and beer, and not the carrot and the onion, which have the tam leek in them. But he's learning out. V'liv hemtecha teaches you.
That it does transfer.
Right. The also min dafka ivar. V'lo yoser afa pisha tam iser meura behen. Okay. The lo dami iser debiur lishar isurim. Right. Daha shari la'aniyim. So maybe you'll say that what? You'll say that the tam that exists, this transfer time that exists in the barrel, right, between the different things, is a different kind of transfer. It's not the same transfer as normal time. What does he mean by that?
The Tom changes his status.
No, but just think practically. Let's say I have basar b'chalav.
Okay.
Okay, let's say tom milk mixes up with tom meat or with meat itself. What happens to the? What happens to it?
Brother.
It's usher to who?
Everyone.
Everyone. But by bior, okay, bior when
It's usher to. It's a niyam can eat it.
exactly. So maybe you'll think different rules of tom apply. Because once you create an exception in a rule, maybe you'll say the tom that exists by bior is a different tom than tom, let's say, by normal isser. That's what you would have thought. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Avamin the nechshevei kimavor kevan she'ein kam melo hatam.
So therefore, what are you going to say? What do you have in the carrot and the onion? All you have is tom.
Of leek.
Right, and you'll say, what's tom? It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's kamash maman. It's everything. So according to Rebbe Elazar, what is it? So at the end of the day, what do we have by Rebbe Elazar? What does Rebbe Elazar hold? What?
This is funny.
What does Rebbe Elazar hold?
It's nothing.
That'll become one.
Time is transferred as usual.
Exactly. Nothing's changed. Rules of the game have not changed, and therefore, once the leek is chayv and biur, both the carrot and the onion are chayv and biur. Also,
saying something more though. When he says,
the first step Rebbe Yeshua makes is that there's no tam, right? Once the leek becomes chayv and biur, what happens to the tam that it's emitting to the other vegetables? It's mavur, right? So therefore, one second. So that would explain why the carrot and the onion aren't chayv and biur, correct? What does that not explain? Right.
What's the case here?
3 vegetables: leek, carrot, onion, all mixed together.
I mean, which one has? Which
The
one?
leek's chayv and biur.
Okay, fine.
So according to Yeshua, it makes a lot of sense why the carrot and the onion wouldn't be chayv and biur. Why not?
Tom.
Tom what?
This is before.
Before, right?
So meaning once the Tom leaves the leaf,
The question is why
It
is
changes the status of the tom.
Okay.
It doesn't really
Tom from the
exist.
Original.
Right, exactly. It's a different tom. It's a different tom that's coming from the leak now. That's the one.
Is
That's a
that
conceptual
different?
move that he's making.
Or
What?
that tom doesn't exist.
No. Well, hold on. We'll get to that. But for now,
It sounds like it doesn't exist.
fine. The tom doesn't exist. All right. It ceases to exist. But we have one problem though. What are you still left with? This is where things get really funky.
Leak is so much somehow.
How's a leak mutter?
Because it,
Oh, I know. Oh, 1 second. Now, see, this is where things get really weird. So you want to play both sides. Right? We didn't cover this point. You want to play both sides because on the one end, you want to tell me that there's no tom that registers the leak in the carrot and the onion,
Right.
but you do want to say that in the leak.
There's no mushrows either.
No,
no,
you-
the tom of the carrot and the onion.
Register.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Off with the head.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a crazy thing. You can't have it both ways. Rabbi Yeshua's crazy. He's out of his mind. That's what's behind Tosfos. Tosfos is saying 1 second. You can't have it both ways. On the one hand, you're telling me.
Destroyed equally.
Yeah, there's Manashach. What should Rabbi Yeshua really hold? Then you're never chayiv in biur, right? You're never chayiv in biur, right? That would be the easy way to get out of it. But he doesn't. He says no. The last one's chayiv in biur. But 1 second, forget that. How's the first one not chayiv in biur? You're telling me tam avur, but 1 second. How's the first one, which is an actual leak? How's it not chayiv in biur? Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
We still good? Okay, keep going.
V'hakra and asi letter av guf also shikala. Ho mor ben hatam hamatur.
So what's he saying? No, mutar. Stop.
Okay.
So therefore he's saying, so what does he learn out? He learns out, no, you're wrong. The leek itself is mutter. Why? Because what does it have in it? Umu'ura behen hatam hamutarim. So because it has carrot and onion in it, and those two are mutter, so therefore the leek is not chayv and biur. So he's just like whacked out.
Yeah, and you can't even say roll because he wasted the last one. So even when two beats out one.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do row.
Yeah.
Row doesn't work.
He's nuts.
Right. How do you answer that?
You don't.
Right.
So
Oh, so uminasada. So what does it mean? What does uminasada mean? Mashmaleh.
Peiros min davar shemixas shemikatses hatam.
Shemiksa satam mimeno
Right.
basada.
So the tochlu av hayaser.
She'imo. Right, meaning that there's no problem eating the carrot and the onion, even though they have tom leek in it. Because what happens to the tom leek? It's mavur,
Yeah.
right? So Rabbi Yeshua is very difficult. And you know what Tosfos doesn't take up? What should still bother you about Rabbi Yeshua? There's two things that should bother you about Rabbi Yeshua. Two things. What are the two things that should bother you about Rabbi Yeshua?
Marisha is the case we just previously did, right?
Yeah. Two things should bother you.
What? How's Tom?
How's
of
the
the
tom
mutter?
over the mushes?
Right, of the leek.
No,
Yeah.
So that's what Tosfos targets. That's one question.
Right.
What's the other question you should ask?
How time doesn't matter.
What is Mavar?
Close. Oh, that's okay. Good. What do you mean by
That's how
that?
the bad time doesn't matter.
No, that's the same question he's saying. What do you mean? Oh, what do you mean? How the bad time doesn't matter? I mean, what mavur? That's what he's saying. What
They have
mavur is?
tom.
Right. No, that David's right. What mavur? But better than that. Why is the last one chayv and biur?
Well, it has all
Why?
three.
What do you mean?
The onion. Onions now. It's March 1st. Okay. The onion now is chayv and biur. According to Yeshua, that's chayv and biur. Well, why?
Well,
I don't know.
Why should that be chayv and biur?
He doesn't hold.
You can't
all
say.
three of
Heter.
them are already
What?
There's
past
no
their
more
deadline.
heter.
Well, Moshe, what?
All three of them are already past their deadline, right?
Well, you're up to the third. The two passed the deadline already.
For whatever
Correct.
reason, because the final good time has been extinguished. The entity,
there's no
the entity has reverted.
Ah, okay, fine. So you're going to have to say is that So you're going to have to say is that by with tam avur. So what does tam avur mean? It means that when the leek was chayv and biur and it was exuding its biur tamness into the onion, what happened to it? What happens to that? It's mavur. It's a different tam. And what happens when the carrot is exuding its isser tam biur into the onion? Also it's mavur. So what are you left with at the end?
It's onion.
An onion, just an onion, right? Just an onion.
Lone onion.
This right, the lone onion. That's all you have. All you have is an onion. You have an onion. You don't have a carrot and a leek. You just have an onion. Okay.
Because those don't really.
Is Rabbi Yeshua clear?
I think. Wait for the onion. The whole thing where we said how does the onion override the isser of the other two, or that one tom that overrides the other two?
Yeah.
That tom is not mavor yet. The onion doesn't have the status of mavor probably.
Maybe your purpose.
When?
is
When?
just
When?
for
When?
the
When?
onion to
When
be-
the other two.
Let's see if we can start putting it together.
Is he saying what?
Finish. Rabbi Gamliel says what?
Savar b'masher shel kol echad shekalav min asada aser aval tam kuk mavor.
Okay, so he says what? He says,
You treat each individually.
right. Also about Tom who kimivur. So now it also gets really strange. That's what you have to do, by the way. So now what's really strange is that he's saying that he agrees with the idea of Tom Mavur. Like he agrees with Rabbi Yeshua's idea that once something comes chayiv and biur, so the Tom that comes out of it is what? It ceases to exist. It's not exuding the same Tom. But the consequence, though, of that is not the same as Rabbi Yeshua's. Because what does he hold? You treat each one independently. Right? You treat the leek like a leek, an onion like an onion, and the carrot like the carrot. So whenever each one's chayiv and biur, that's when you chayiv to biur on the thing. Okay? So what's the machlokas?
Okay.
Baby methodological stuff, which is, what are the two issues? So one issue is mavur, right? Because clearly, Raman Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua hold Tom as mavur, whereas Rav Elazar says no. Okay? But, that's one machlokas. What's the other machlokas arguing about?
How you treat, I guess, Tom had to.
Well, good. How do we treat the Tom? Okay, now line it up.
Right.
Meaning what?
Mavor against.
Forget Mavor.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the Tom of the.
I get what you no, never mind.
What? No, I'm talking about the Tomim of the carrot and the onion that are in the leek.
Right.
That Tomim. So one side's going to say what?
Bad question.
What's Rav Elazar clearly saying?
Rabbi Elazar?
Rav Elazar, yeah.
Well, he says the night before that. So.
The negative time ruined it. And
Right. So Tamir is saying. So Tamir is also too. The other machlokas is: do you look at these things as A, B, and C, or do we say there's a reality in each one of ABC, BCA, CBA? All right, that's the other machlokas. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Great. So those are the two steps I would take. Question of Mavur, and that's the other one. Now, put it all together. Give me Rav Elazar. What does he hold? Actually, give me Rabban Gamliel. I think he's the easiest one, to be honest with you. What does Rabban Gamliel hold?
Well, that it is Mavor.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom.
Rabban Gamliel must agree that there's a reality of the tom leek in the carrot, right? It tastes like leek, but what's he saying? What's changed? What's changed? If you're going to say that the tom is mavur, what are you really saying? How could there be a change?
It's now subservient to the mamashos.
No, because what happened to the leek?
Nothing. Oh, it's like beer.
So therefore what? You're right. So what happens to the leek then? The leek is not chai beer. So now what? What must he be saying?
The Tom isn't chai beer.
The Tom is
If the leek is now chayiv and biur,
This is the problem. We're gonna go from a shit to an is, and I hate this freaky part.
when we say that leek is chayiv and biur, okay? So now think about it. Beforehand, you have the state of the leek is kedusha Sheviis. That's state A. Now, what happens when it's chayiv and biur? What's he saying? What must happen? In order to say Tom is before, how do you look at the leek now?
Tomless.
You mean different Toms again?
Well, in order for it to be a different Tom, in order for it to be a different Tom, what must you therefore say?
It must register that
That what's changed?
The Tom or
Not the Tom,
the
The
Mashas.
of the
mamashos.
mashas.
Right.
The leek's changed.
Why? Why do you just say that?
Because the only way you can say, because what does Tom of War mean? It doesn't mean that, can't mean literally the Tom is destroyed. He's just saying that now.
He's pushing this hella hard.
No, he's saying, but what's happening now? No, but halachically it's destroyed. What does that mean? How could that be? Because what's happened to the min of the leek?
to move on.
It's a chayv and beer now. It's a different min. So what Rabban Gamliel is saying is that because the leek now is a different min, right? So now he comes along and says, now it's a different identity now. That doesn't register anymore in the what do you call it? In the carrot and the onion. In other words, it's no longer. I'll put it a different way. The carrot and the onion have the tom leek in them. Okay, but which leek tom do they have in them?
The ex Kedusha.
The Kedusha Sheviis tom.
Separating it, or
Oh, because you're in two categories. You're saying
Let me clarify something. What you're saying is an important point.
They got
You got to look at tom, and there's two layers conceptually of tom. One is a culinary layer, and the other one is Sheviis. Okay. From a culinary standpoint, you can't deny the fact that the taste of the leek is still going to the carrot, of course. Right? But what he's saying is that once, and in the conceptual realm, once that thing becomes chayv and biur, right? So now there's still tom of leek going into the carrot, but there's no idea of biur tom. There's no such thing.
No, that's what I was asking. Why does
Wait. I'll make it even better for you. You're right. I mean, Yaakov's right. He's pushing a good point. In other words, Rabban Gamliel is going further than that. He's not just saying there's no tom beer. He's saying that there's no halachic tom. Of course, there's a reality of the culinary tom, but he's saying there is no reality of any what do you call it? Halachic tam, kedusha Sheviis, or biur exuded in the other things. Doesn't exist
In the other things?
in the other things.
Why
'Cause
not?
what do you mean why not? Because you see each one's chayiv and biur separately.
According to
Or Rabban Gamliel. He says it's very nice that taste-wise, in my leek, I taste a carrot and onion, but halachically speaking, mipi Sheviis, what do I have? A leek, right? So therefore, there is no reality of the Sheviis aspect of the leek expressed in the carrot or the onion. Doesn't exist.
Why not?
Because he deals with only the culinary tam. He has no idea of a halachic tam, an abstract tam being transferred from A to B. The abstract tam, not the culinary tam. Everyone agrees that you can't deny the fact that the carrot tastes like leek and onion. But the question is it acquiring the properties of Sheviis / biur in the thing?
We're fighting Rabban Gamliel right now, right?
I don't see why that doesn't admit either.
Why is it so crazy? Think about it. What the status of kedusha Sheviis is purely abstract. Is there any reality of kedusha Sheviis in tam?
No.
Tam is taste.
Not
I taste
absolutely.
it. What's kedusha Sheviis? Kedusha Sheviis is some abstract quality the produce has. You can't taste kedusha Sheviis. So Rabban Gamliel is very nice. He's saying that listen, you have in the culinary realm, of course, you have a transfer. But in the halachic realm, how do you transfer these things over? There's no reason to say you transfer one with the other.
It's normative.
Questions like this. The question is, everyone agrees there's an exchange of tam, but the question is, does the exchange of tam actually change the identity of the mint? That's the question. Rabban Gamliel says no. He says it's very nice there's an exchange of tam, but it has nothing to do with re-identifying the mint. By the way, let me ask you another question why that's not so crazy.
I think there has to be mechanical,
but I'll push you into a corner. I'll prove to you why Rabban Gamliel makes a lot of sense. Because think about it. What's chayiv and biur? Give me an example of what's chayiv and biur. When oranges are consumed from the field, orange is chayiv and biur, right? So now in front of me, what do I have?
It can be mechanical.
What do I have in front of me?
You need to mix your oranges.
Right, well, no, let's take our case. In the barrel, what do I have in front of me?
Oranges or leek.
A leek. I have a leek, right? The leeks are done in the field, right? So what's chayiv and biur? The leek.
Right.
Okay, now I have a carrot in front of me. Now you're going to tell me that the leeks are chayiv and biur and some of this carrot is not chayiv and biur? What kind of thing is that? The chayiv biur is only chal on the min, right? The chayiv biur is chal on what? On the actual vegetable. So I have a carrot in front of me. Okay, so it tastes like a leek. That's nice.
But it becomes as you apply the characteristic of the cholesterol. No, okay. Don't use it.
I don't know, bro. That thing is like wrap. A lot of cocoa pebbles are sprinkled on top of that thing.
But you need to say that. That's
Well, he holds there's no such thing as before. So what does he obviously hold? Let's make it simple. What must Rebbe Elazar hold? Akav's question must be Rebbe Elazar's position. Rebbe Elazar must hold there is no such thing as tam avur, right? So what does that? What do you mean there's no such thing as tam avur?
Beer.
There's tam, right?
Like
So the tam, the very tam that takes the leek tam and brings it into the carrot.
It's tam avur.
right?
That's what you're saying, right? It's tam beer.
It's not right. Tam beer.
So they're focusing on the definition of that word.
No. The question is tam avur or not? Does the tam get
Does
destroyed?
tam mean- does tam avur mean tam avur or tam beer?
A corner of Rebbe Elazar is saying no. Rebbe Elazar is saying that as long as it's transfer of tam, what does the tam take with it?
Says.
yeah.
Yeah, the identity.
Tam.
Right. So now, what do I have in front of me? When I have a carrot in front of me, what do I actually have?
A carrot, onion, leek.
Thank you. So when the leek is chayiv and beer, right? It's actually not even a leek anymore. This entity, as long as this entity has some component of it that's chayiv and beer, what happens to the entity? It's chayiv and beer. So it's a wild idea. So in Rebbe Elazar's world, he sees
There's
the
no way to
leek as
separate.
what? There is no exactly.
Right.
According to Elazar, each min becomes what? A new min. A new min. Right. A new min. Meaning what? The leek isn't a leek. It's a what? The leek, carrot, onion,
Wow.
right? So as long as the leek is chayiv and beer, that affects the carrot, onion status also. And the carrot has leek in it, that's also chayiv and beer, right? So Rebbe Elazar is easy.
Yeah,
So do you understand the two sides?
Alrighty, boy.
I'm being a little more descriptive than I like to be, but I want to make sure everything's clear before we make the move to Rabbi Yoshua.
You haven't said segue in like an hour. This
To make it clear, Rabban Gamliel holds that only leek can be chayiv and beer, right? So therefore, he agrees to this transfer of tam in the culinary world, but the tam itself doesn't take with it the isser beer. There's no such thing. There's no such thing because beer can only be chal on a min. So how could if beer can only be chal on a leek? How could a leek? What idea is it for the carrot to, like you were saying, for the carrot to receive tam beer? What kind of thing is that? Because there's no such thing as tam beer, because only a leek is chayv in beer, not a quasi mixed up conceptual vegetable. It has to be an actual leek. Whereas Rav says, no, we treat tam like that's what Tosfos is saying. You treat it like any other tam, and the tam takes with it all of its properties. Therefore, when it's chayv in beer, it takes that with it. So now, what do I have in front of me? I don't have a leek. I have a leek, carrot, onion. That's a very novel. What?
It's Rabbi Elazar.
That's Rav Elazar. So now it's Rav Yeshua. Now, what does Rav Yeshua do? Rav Yeshua takes a little bit of each side.
He somehow gets.
Goes right. So let's just slowly. This is not easy. Okay, slowly. So clearly, what must he be saying? Rav Yeshua must be saying is that since the leek is,
I lost it.
if the leek is chayv in beer, right? And you're telling me if the leek is chayv in beer, which is telling me that you don't do beer on it. So and because that's tam, carrot, onion, what must you say? Say it again.
The Italian is not chayv.
Right, the whole thing has to be chayv and beer in order to be chayv and beer. So now, just because a percentage of it's chayv and beer, that doesn't register. There's no registering if 33% of this thing is chayv and beer.
It has to be color.
That's to be color. The thing, the ABC has to be color.
What is
Wait a second. Meaning it has to be completely.
Why did you need 20 minutes to say that? You freaking.
The carrot. Now, what do you have in the carrot now? Well, you have what? You have onion
and leek.
and leek. The leek is chayv and beer.
The onion is
But one second. But is there any time of the leek of beer or leek in the carrot?
Yeah.
It's mavur.
Right. It's A B C, but A is A plus B plus C. B is B plus A plus C, and C is C plus.
I think I agree with what he's saying. I'm not 100% positive.
So A, B, and C have subcategories, is what he's trying to say.
Sort of.
No.
No, but let's look at the carrot. So clearly, the onion is giving it what? Sheviis, right?
Yeah.
And now the carrot's chayv and bior. Forget the leek for a second, because the onion exists in it. Say the same thing Yaakov said before, right? The min has to be chayv and bior, right? But right now the min's not chayv and bior, right?
Yeah.
Now let's go to the onion. All right. So what do you have in the onion now?
Carrot and leek.
Because you have carrot and leek, right? So now you have two logical options in front of you. I'm trying to get you into what my brain was thinking. I think when I went through the sugya, you have two logical roads in front of you. Okay, with the onion, either you're going to tell me that there is no tam, carrot, or leek in it whatsoever, and that's why it's chayv and beer, or the other possibility is that because the tam, carrot, leek that it's in it, since those are chayv and beer already, that's why now the whole thing's chayv and beer. Which way do you go?
I thought Tom's Mavur. Whoa.
Dylan's going to say no. Dylan's going to say that you don't have tam, carrot, or leek. You just have the onion, right? But so now it would make perfect sense why the onion's chayv and beer.
Right.
Now let's go back to the carrot. Why is the carrot chayv and beer?
It's one entity. You gotta go with that.
No. Why is the carrot chayv and beer?
It's one
Do we
entity.
even have to look at these individually?
Well, you got to be. One second. What do you mean? You got to be
Let's
careful,
look at
but you can't look at it individually. Why?
Can't?
What happens if you look at each one individually?
Right, so
Who are you?
look
One second.
at
If you look at each one individually, who are you? Rabban Gamliel. So you can't say that either. So you have to understand the logical trap you're in here.
Not the individual.
What?
You're looking at the chavis here.
Okay.
Right, not the individual.
Right. So I know, but you right. So in the chavetz you have three vegetables, right? But now we understand why. Dylan's assuming now that the onion. Why is the onion chayv and bior? Because there's no tam, carrot, or leek in it. Right? That's what you're saying. That's what you mean. That's what you think tam of war
You said
means.
the chavis is not chayv and beer.
No.